This is The Real Hustle, Celebrity Scammers. In this series, the hustlers carry out scams that are bigger, tougher and more devious than ever before. With the help of their celebrity friends, hustlers Alex, Jess and Paul pull off the riskiest scams of all, long cons. Intricate webs of lies and deception designed to separate the unwary from their money. On tonight's show, actress Abby Titmus proves she's legally blonde.
We're going to sort this out.
No, you're not! No, it's absolutely ridiculous!
Paul rips it up.
Oh no, you can't touch it with anything.
Nothing with anything.
How are you supposed to do that?
And these guys let the wrong ones in.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
All the people in this show have been hustled for real, and after being given their money back, they agreed the footage could be shown so that you could avoid falling for the same scams. The hustlers have invited celebrity friends to help them carry out their long cons. They'll be thrown in at the deep end. No training and no practice, just straight into the scam. This week's celebrity guest hustler is former nurse, turned model and professional actress, Abby Titmus.
I've got absolutely no idea what to expect whatsoever. I'm completely in the dark. Can't wait to meet the guys and see what they've got in store for me. I am an actress, so I'm hoping that I'll be a good hustler.
Abby has been told to keep an eye out for a familiar-looking gentleman sitting outside a cafe.
Yes.
I'm Paul.
Paul, hi.
Hi, nice to meet you. Have a seat.
Time for Paul to tell Abby what lies in store for her.
We're going to convince someone that today is the luckiest day of their life and that they're about to receive a very valuable inheritance. But because of the situation that we've concocted, they have to act today or they don't get anything. First thing we need you to do is you need to play the part of a scientist who's going to do a DNA test. And you're going to have to rush the test through. It'll cost extra money. You're going to have to send a courier over. But then we're going to send you up as the courier. So we have 3 props. Stick your head in that.
Yeah.
And of course the helmet will be down so they shouldn't recognize you because they are going to see you later on.
Right.
Okay? Ready?
Ready.
They head inside the cafe so that Abby can prepare for her first of many roles in The Inheritance. Alex is hanging around outside a nearby office building, waiting for his new clients to arrive. They've received a letter from his solicitor asking them to come in for a meeting to discuss an urgent legal matter. Naturally intrigued, they arrive bang on time.
You coming in?
Yeah, Mr. Steele.
Oh, that's me.
Oh, is it?
Nice to meet you. Hi. Do come in. What a coincidence.
Coincidence indeed. Alex shows them up to his office, situated just above the cafe.
Do come in, take a seat. Right. Thank you so much for coming down, and I'm sorry you had to come a long way. Can I just start firstly by saying to you there's absolutely nothing to be alarmed about. We often get engaged by executors to wills to track down relatives of someone that's deceased, where the deceased wants to pass on a certain amount of money, or whether it's a house or any property, to somebody else.
So Alex has been hired to track down any potential beneficiaries of a long-lost relative's will. This obviously comes as a bit of a surprise to his new clients.
Are you sure you're the right person?
Well, that's exactly why you're here. That's exactly why you're here. We have a certain gentleman called William Moxham. Does that name mean anything to you?
I don't know if it was her dad, but Moxon's her actual maiden name.
Well, this is a copy of his birth certificate. It was 23rd of September 1928. He made quite a lot of money. I think it was cotton farming in Africa. He's got a manor house in the vicinity that's quite huge. The family tree, the Moxham family tree, if you can see here, dates back to, well, this is like 18th century.
Alex has an elaborately prepared family tree of the deceased, and it sounds like there's a connection to the Marks family.
you know, there's no... Exactly. Now, William...
In fact, all Alex has is her family name, available to anyone with access to the electoral roll and birth records.
William Moxon married, it's a bit of an Anna Nicole Smith situation. He's got a 23-year-old wife and no living descendants.
Oh my God, this is like a dream. This is like...
But he obviously wanted to leave something to other living, surviving Moxons. I'm not saying to you that you're going to be a millionaire tomorrow because I don't know what it is. I'm not allowed to know. I'm not privy to that information. That information comes from the executor of the will, which is a gentleman called Rob Marks. Okay? We've had 6 months to do it. We have drawn a blank until recently when we found you. What I need to do is I need to speak to the executor, Robert Marks, and say that hold the boat, can't give everything to the 20-year-old wife. We've got somebody else who might qualify for whatever it is that they're allocated. Because today is our deadline. And believe me, they're all waiting for this deadline to happen so they can just close the case, give all the money and pass on to the next case. What we will need is a swab, a mouth swab, saliva swab. Would you be okay with that? Let me just call, I'm just going to quickly call the lab.
To be absolutely sure there's a family connection, the solicitor will need a DNA test. In fact, he'll be speaking to Abby in her first role of the hustle. She's right downstairs with Paul.
Hello?
Hello, is that TRH?
It is Jewellery Shop, yeah.
Hi there. It's Ian Steele here. I'm going to ask you for a favour. I think you owe me one.
Mr. Steele, I'll try and help you. You know I will, but it depends what it is.
I need you to fast track.
Really busy.
Well, I know that, but I need you to fast track a DNA sample for me.
You know it's minimum 48 hours. That's the best I can do.
I need it 24 hours.
24 hours?
Yeah.
I just don't know if that's possible. I mean, there's two things. First of all, well, I mean, I can ask for you. There's a very slim chance.
But you'd be comfortable, you know that.
That's fine.
So, I mean, there might be a courier, but we'd have to get a courier to you. That's the second thing. I don't think there's any in your area. It would have to happen very quickly. Hang on a second. Let me just...
Okay, well, we've had...
There is... Right, well, this must be your lucky day, Mr. Steele, because there is a courier, not only in your area, but I believe it's actually in your street.
Oh, brilliant. Okay.
No, I mean, can you have sample?
If he can pop in the next 5 minutes, that'll be great.
All right, OK. We'll send them round straight away.
Thank you.
You're very lucky.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Job done.
Okay. That's fine. That's fine.
A quick swab of the cheek and the test is ready to go.
There we go.
Here comes the courier to collect it. Abby must keep a low profile and try not to make eye contact, because if all goes according to plan, she'll be meeting the Marks again later.
It all hinges on this, because family trees are great and everything's fine, but it all hinges on that. Once we get positive news there, but what I want to do is... Rather than wait for this... that was very, very quick. Here you go.
Excellent, thank you.
That's fine. And if you can get it back to me as soon as you can, that'd be great. Sure. Thank you.
Thanks.
Bye.
Easy. Abby takes the all-important swab test back to the fictitious laboratory.
Good.
Let me call Rob Marks.
Alex asks his clients to meet him later in the day at the deceased's estate.
OK, brilliant. Thank you so much for coming down and thank you for your time.
In a matter of hours, they'll find out if they're entitled to a portion of this mysterious inheritance. Of course, the hustlers don't need any DNA tests. As far as this scam is concerned, the positive result is a foregone conclusion.
Why don't you file that?
Alex now has to get a move on and vacate his office before its real owner comes back, because he only borrowed it for a couple of hours.
All right.
What the Marks didn't see was the hustlers turning up earlier in the morning,
TRH Painters.
dressed as painters and decorators. A self-adhesive sign gave their fictitious law firm that touch of authenticity. Unfortunately for the office's owner, he won't return to the smell of wet paint. But for the Marks, the stakes are about to be raised.
It is my opinion that it is her legal right.
And Abby still has her biggest part to play.
We're going to sort this out.
No, you can't do it! It's absolutely ridiculous! Let's do it!
When hustlers go out, they don't bring money. They go armed with prop bets.
Right.
But a prop bet only has one rule.
Do you give up?
And that's that the hustler always wins.
Drinks, please. Thank you.
Paul fancies a drink and plans to make his new friends pay for it.
So here's what we'll do, is we're going to use a drawer and this. We pull this apart here. This is kind of like a tunnel. And if I said to you, you have to get the drawer to pass through the archway, that seems quite easy, doesn't it? But you're not allowed to touch it. And not only that, you've got to do it from where you're sitting right now, and you've got to make it come towards you.
So to avoid buying Paul a drink, this guy needs to make the tray move towards him through the matchbox tunnel. But he's not allowed to touch it, and he can't move from his chair.
I can't touch anything at all.
No. You can touch yourself, but that's entirely up to you.
I've got an idea that I could try, it might not work.
You're going to suck?
Yeah.
Yeah. It probably wouldn't work, is my advice.
If you put something behind it and blow, then it would be banned and push it through.
That might work, but you're not allowed to add anything else to it. It's just you and the matchbox, I'm afraid.
So I can't put a drink behind it?
No,
I can't do it. No.
Can't do it. All right. Now, if I show you how it's done, it's going to be worth a drink, just to find out.
It is now, yeah.
Yeah, and you can then use that to get your own drinks, yeah? All right. All right. So one of the things about a good scam is that you've got to be able to know a secret, but the other thing is to talk people out of it if they figure it out.
Right.
Remember I said it's just you and the matchbox. Now you can't put a drink behind it. You can do that.
Oh my god.
Pretty good.
That's all.
Easy when you know how. Paul just blows air at his hand, which is placed behind the matchbox. His breath is reflected back towards him, bringing the tray along for the ride.
I wouldn't have thought of that.
Call it a drink?
No one wants to be burgled, so it's no surprise that millions of homes in the UK have some form of alarm or burglar deterrent. But what about homes that are rented or only inhabited for short periods of time, such as student houses? They're the perfect targets for the hustlers in the scareware scam. It's early evening, and hoping that the students in this house are out of bed by now, Alex and Paul pull up outside.
Got one already, that's a dummy, look.
Yeah, I don't work, did it?
I'm going to put it up here.
Right.
Hello, we're here to fit an alarm for the...
Dave, do you know about this alarm?
I'm thinking this
Yeah.
bad boy. I'm going to put
It's
it up
definitely
there.
26, yeah?
Yeah.
All right, OK, good. We're basically just fitting it for the owner of the property, so...
All right.
I think it's insurance purposes, to be honest with you.
So it sounds like the landlord has sent these engineers around to install a brand new alarm system.
It's a very simple alarm we're fitting, to be honest with you. Just want to... Quick. Is this door always open here?
No, we usually lock it.
While the mark is distracted, Alex installs a little surveillance system of his own to capture the scam.
And we just check for...
The engineers take a good look at all the points of access.
Large.
The students let them get on with it as they attach state-of-the-art infrared motion detectors.
Yeah.
There goes another sensor in the hallway.
Did my colleague explain it's a wireless system, so we're just going to give you a simple remote for that. OK.
Next, the master alarm box, which has to be fitted to the exterior of the property.
You know, this isn't your best angle.
The student house is now completely secure.
That's it, chaps. So we give you the remote and get out of here.
This is how you arm it. So you press that. All threes, that means you're on. And to turn it off, disarm. And obviously, in order for you to be covered for insurance, you have to use it, yeah? All right, cheers.
Another job well done. Later that night, the hustlers are back. But this time, they stop further up the road and wait. Before too long, the students head out. They remember to set their brand new alarm system. You can never be too careful.
Remind me, what are we doing?
I think we're robbing the place.
Alex and Paul have no idea how long the house will be empty, so speed is of the essence. Time to get to work. The side door is locked, but that doesn't seem to be a problem for the hustlers. And funnily enough, that new alarm system is being very quiet.
Okay, camera set.
First, they take a laptop and an Xbox they spotted earlier. Alex starts loading as Paul heads upstairs. Next, a camera, a guitar, and another games console. There goes some DJing decks and a couple more vintage guitars.
We're gonna go and scout, see what else is happening.
Oh, laptop.
Where? Oh, laptop. You know what? I think we've accidentally tidied up the flat.
Anything valuable is now in the van. Now, to get rid of the evidence. The hustlers take down the state-of-the-art sensors. Actually, they're just empty plastic shells that have been taped to the wall.
Put your foot on the ladder.
And finally, the alarm box. The only thing that's good for is flashing red and making reassuring beeping noises.
One more check.
It certainly won't alert anyone to a burglary in progress. Paul's found one more item worth taking from the house.
Congratulations on all your work.
You really shouldn't have.
Here's a progress. Well, she hasn't been feeling well.
Now that they've truly ransacked the joint, it's time to make a sharp exit. A few hours later, the students return from their night out. But there's a nasty surprise awaiting them.
Jamie? Xbox gone? No, I'm not kidding. And our laptops, Jamie. What?
Did you leave the back door?
No?
What are you doing?
No.
Guys, Frank's decks have gone.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
Do you have insurance?
No?
I don't.
The devastated Marks go outside to check on the new alarm system. Of course, the burglars took that too. Leaving those engineers to walk freely around the house maybe wasn't such a good idea. If they'd paid more attention, they'd have seen this. With a block of putty in hand, Paul made an imprint of the keys hanging in the side door. And with that, the hustlers had everything they needed to gain entry to the Marks' house. A house they thought was completely secure.
Just total shock. Went to get my camera and it was gone. And then I realised my laptop was gone. Then I realised the 2 laptops that we left downstairs are gone. And then the back door was open and then we realised my friend's guitars are gone and decks are gone and we're finding more and more. Then I panicked big time. And I said to him, I recognised the guy that came in to fit the stuff and I recognised him from somewhere and I didn't know where. And it was really bugging me all day.
If only they'd paid more attention to those faces on TV. These guys were lucky enough to get all their possessions back. What the hustlers were trying to demonstrate was a real-life version of a popular online scam.
This illustrates a scam that actually happens on the internet. While surfing, you get an email or a message telling you that your computer is not protected, but offering you software to solve the problem. And that software is what exposes your computer to the attack. So instead of getting a message, you get 2 dodgy engineers coming to the door in our version. Instead of some software that doesn't work, you get an empty box that you're told is an alarm system. But the principle is exactly the same. In both versions, you're actually giving the hustlers the keys to the back door.
Nice to meet you. Hi. Do come in. Thank you so much.
Earlier today, actress Abby Titmus helped the hustlers persuade these people that they may be in line for an inheritance from a long-lost relative.
I'm going to ask you for a favour. I'm desperate.
Abby came face to helmet with the marks when she acted as a courier, picking up a DNA test.
Get it back to me. Thank you so much for coming down.
They were told to meet solicitor Alex again this evening to find out the results of the test. In The Inheritance Part 2. The hustlers and their latest recruit Abby have arrived at a large country manor. It certainly looks like the home of a wealthy country gent, but it's actually just been hired for a couple of hours. Abby's biggest challenge is coming up. She's going to have to play the part of a lawyer. The place has been rigged with cameras to capture her performance. They have just moments before the whole show starts.
Hi there.
Solicitor Alex meets the couple outside, as if he's just arrived for the meeting himself. They're all here to talk to the executor of the deceased estate, Mr. Rob Marks.
Have a seat.
Yes.
Sorry, can I get your names? Just can you
Penny.
have a seat,
Have a seat, Penny.
And
David, this is
David, have a seat. How are you?
Right, so we've had the 6 months to find a descendant.
Yeah.
And I have found Penny here.
Alex shows Paul the mocked-up family tree and the apparent connection to the Marks family.
Mrs. Flatt was kind enough this morning to do a swab test, and this is the result. It's a 92% match, which is all very good news.
The DNA result seems pretty conclusive. She really must be related to old William and therefore have a claim to part of his will. Of course, there's one person who won't be so pleased.
Is the young Mrs. Moxley?
Yeah, she is. In fact, I'd like to bring only a little bit. Why don't you take a seat at the table?
Okay.
I'll bring through. It really depends on whether or not Mrs. Moxon's lawyer decides to put up a fight, frankly.
Is that Miss Burns, is it?
Yeah. Why don't you take a seat at the table?
Paul goes off to fetch the young widow and her lawyer, whilst Alex shows the couple to their seats for a very uncomfortable meeting.
Well, no, there's nothing to feel awful about. Somebody's wishes. There's the lady here. Hi there. Ian Steele. Hi, Evelyn. I think we met.
Have a seat, please.
So what's going on?
All right, let me introduce, this is Penny Flatt and her husband, David Flatt. When we began this process after the death of your husband, one of the stipulations in the will, which we discussed at the time, was that he had had a rift with the family, or his father had a rift with the family, and that he wanted to pass some money to that side of the family, and he set aside a portion of the will. A search has thrown up this branch of the family here.
Well, as you can see, there's your husband, William Moxon, here. So we went back.
Right, I see, yeah.
Which makes Miss Flatt a direct descendant.
Good grief.
But you've never met him before, though?
No. As we said, it's an estranged branch of the family. So today, our job was to complete the will with a reading, but because of this, I'm going to delay that by 48 hours.
No, you can't do that.
I'm afraid I can. It is my prerogative as executor to do that. I think you'll find that
she could have
£250,000 has been set aside for that branch of the family.
What, for this woman to take?
The sum of money is an astonishing amount. Anyone would love to get their hands on that sort of cash.
Well, to be fair,
I've
Mrs.
been
Moxon,
married
we only
to him
met
for 2
Yeah.
years.
So you've only known him for 2 years, but it is her legal right.
I don't get if it's anyone's legal right or not.
Not anyway.
I've been with him for 2 years. He's been ill.
We're going to sort this out.
No, it's absolutely ridiculous. I'm going.
That didn't really go down too well.
Okay.
Sorry, no, don't feel awful.
As I said, it is my opinion that it is her legal right.
Right, well, what I'm going to say to you is, I'm going to go through this with a fine-tooth comb. This has got to be absolutely watertight. There's going to be no mistakes, else I'm going to be all over it, OK?
OK, I'll make sure Mr. Steele takes care of that, but I'll get it to you tomorrow.
Well, as soon as possible, yeah, by 12 o'clock if possible.
You got it.
Right, I'm going to go and see if she's OK.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Lawyer Abby has played her part to perfection. She goes off, supposedly to check on her client.
Why don't I leave and get this together.
Paul also makes his excuses, leaving Alex to seal the deal. So why have the hustlers gone to all this trouble? They're much better at taking money than handing it out.
So the situation we're in at the moment is I need to put the paperwork in on your behalf, officially. And in order to do that, there also needs to be some form of payment. To do this to handle an inheritance fee is a standard fee of £3,000.
And there's the cash. In order to have a chance of inheriting that money, the Mark needs to engage a solicitor before the claim deadline runs out at midnight tonight.
In order to activate the proceedings, we have to legally show that you have hired me as your solicitor.
Alex is more than happy to offer his services, but will require a retainer of £3,000. Will she really go for the scam and hand over her bank details to someone she only met a few hours ago?
Something like this.
So you wouldn't just take it out?
No, no.
There's the card.
I'll just verify your signature. Good. Why don't I meet you at the Bedford Arms in about 5–10 minutes?
I need a drink.
Yeah, have a drink. It's a very good idea. You might join me in that.
To this couple, the unexpected events of the day seem to have worked out for the best. But they don't realise that with those card details, the hustlers wouldn't take just £3,000, but completely empty her bank account. They'll never see Alex again either, and by the time they've had that drink, the manor house will be deserted and the hustlers long gone. The Marks did not want their interview about the scam to be included in the programme.
I feel terrible for her when she finds out she's not going to inherit that money, and I couldn't look at her actually, and I didn't like that aspect of it. I didn't like it. I felt bad. What we've actually done is proved how people can be conned out of this sort of amount of money. So hopefully people will learn from watching this. I definitely do not see myself making a career move as a full-time hustler.
Who wouldn't like an unexpected fortune from a relative you didn't even know existed? For the Marks, it was a wonderful surprise, until they had to put their hands in their pockets.
Never allow yourself to be pressured into handing over money. If you really are in line for an inheritance, then that opportunity is not going to go away at the stroke of midnight. A quick phone call will be able to determine whether the person or the company you're dealing with are for real. Now, if they're genuine, they won't mind the wait. But if they're scammers, they'll be gone long before you pick up the phone.
If you've been left money in a will, there's almost certainly no important deadline. Events are being compressed so that you're being asked to make decisions that you'd normally think about in slow time, quickly, on the hoof. And that's when you part with your money, and that's when you get scammed.
There's another brand new Real Hustle Celebrity Scammers coming up, with a former EastEnders star being a diamond geezer.